Welcome to today's episode of the ADFARTECH Venture podcast, and I'm the host of this show, Sonal, and I'm thrilled to introduce our today's guest, Mr. Simon Callaghan, a remarkable figure in the world of emerging technologies and blockchain. So, Simon is the co-founder and chief strategy officer of MOOPS Tech, a specialized SaaS and consulting firm catering to both traditional finances and crypto. And Simon's expertise spans various facets of the technology sector, from spatial technologies to blockchain innovations. So today, Simon will share his insights into the state of crypto in Australia. That is something we would like to know because crypto is always growing. So what is in the reality? So about the technology that is, shaping the future and what lies ahead in the dynamic field. So, Simon, thank you so much for joining this podcast and giving us your time to, share the learning as well as something more in detail about the states of the crypto in Australia. So, Simon, before we begin, I would like to ask you that can you share your journey in your words, which could be better for our audience to understand more about you in detail?
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Sonal, for the invite and for having me. I appreciate it. I began I've been working in tech for coming up 19 years now, and I began in geospatial, so spatial technologies, working in GIS and remote sensing, and worked in that for about 8 years, completed an MBA during that period, and was recruited to a IT services firm. Hopefully your listeners in India will be familiar with a small company by the name of Infosys, and spent a number of years at Infosys and really enjoyed that. Moved to New York with them, spent a bit of time with a mid-tier services firm, Virtusa, before working at the Australian consulate in New York, looking after fintech, blockchain and edtech. I moved home and set up the operations for a crypto unicorn in Asia, in Sydney as well. Then following the 2022 collapse in crypto, spent a year leading the digital asset program at Cambridge Uni, and the past year I was CEO of Blockchain Australia, the peak industry body, and finished up there last month before going back into industry.
That's wonderful. And, you had not just to travel, but you had learned and grown with the industries from the various, countries also. So that's a very good experience you had shared, and there is so much to learn from you as per your words are sounding, So wonderful. Thank you, Simon, for these wonderful introductions. So before we begin, Simon, for the question and answer, if you permit me, I would like to also introduce my organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simon, for giving us this opportunity as well to, collaborate in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the different services we provide. So just a quick words about the ADFARTECH venture. So as if ADFARTECH venture, I say like we are an IT and a tech platform with the focus on different IT solutions, IT resources, IT recruitments, and this kind of a tech audio podcast also. And if I say about the different vendor alliances, we have a 50 plus tech partners. It includes the SAP, Oracle, then Microsoft, Pega, OutSystem, APN, Salesforce, Clouderica, Informatica, and many more too. And so many are under pipelines too. And when I say about the key solutions, we provide almost all the kinds of software-related solutions. Especially when I say about the solutions, it's about ERP, then application development, data, and AI/ML, blockchain, cloud, managed services, then UX UI testing, and now this cybersecurity is also much in the boom. And the last but not the least, when I say our resources, we have a 20,000 plus resources all across the skills, so we can deliver both on-site as well as offshore within the 24 hours. So that is the major capability we have. And about this podcast, if I say, we always learn to more, from different tech leaders, from their journey, from their industries, and different latest tech innovations. Through these podcasts, we try to, learn something new. We try to learn something from their experiences. And the same way, we are also very enthused to share these experiences with the audiences as well. So this podcast has been created, and we are very much, excited to share about today's with you as your journey in the crypto. So this is all about the ADFARTECH venture, and I hope you will also enjoy the discussion, as well as our audience will also get benefited from this discussion as well. So that's all about me and my organization. And thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you.
No worries.
So Simon, now with your permission, can I start?
Yeah, no worries.
Great. So Simon, first of all, I would like to know overview of the current state, as our today's topic is, the states of crypto in Australia. So can you just brief us about an overview of the current state, and what are the key trends and developments that as a tech people we should be aware?
Yeah, it's interesting, the crypto space. It's ever evolving, and pretty rapid growth and contraction at times as well. So it's highly volatile in terms of an alternative asset class, but and that's no different to Australia. It's no different anywhere globally. That's a global 24/7 global market. We've seen, comparing it to other jurisdictions. So we've got Singapore very focused on the institutional side of things, not dissimilar to where it sits in the global space in terms of traditional finance. We've seen Dubai and UAE as a whole, Abu Dhabi included, make a real play for crypto there. We've seen the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, VARA, operating the licenses in Dubai. We've seen a lot of a few Australian businesses, but a lot of businesses globally heading towards the UAE with their clear licensing framework. They're fairly pro-business as a whole. Australia in that global market is a little more conservative. We've always been more regulated probably than our neighbours. We've seen ASIC, look to take a number of crypto businesses to court to test the legislation as both sides understand, because there isn't specific crypto legislation, and the government is the Australian government federally is currently looking at addressing that. They had through Treasury had a public consultation paper late last year around regulating digital asset platforms. So looking at exchanges and custody firms and how to regulate them as opposed to the tokens themselves. So that's generally positive. There's been some disagreement on what those thresholds might look like in terms of when you might need a license, whether it's $1.5 million in total or $1,500 per customer. But generally, the industry felt those are extremely low, which I would agree with. That there's meant to be an exposure draft, so I guess draft legislation put out for the industry to comment towards the end of the year. Whether that happens or not, I think is still up in question, given that we're going to head to a election year next year in Australia. So whether that gets pushed back till after the election, that might be likely, but we may be pleasantly surprised. So we have a number of exchanges, global exchanges, local exchanges, all doing well on the retail side. We've got some institutional interest in this space, and we see the banks. We've got four, like they're called the big four banks in Australia, ANZ, Commonwealth, Westpac, and NAB, and they're at various stages in terms of their investment into real world asset tokenization, stable coins. ANZ has a stable coin that they've produced, and NAB did, but they've dismantled that team, and starting to see different, levels of engagement around that tokenization and looking at how they use the technology rather than crypto itself. But how do you take the benefits and innovation of that technology and apply it to existing financial services and banking systems? And I think that's where a large part of growth is going to come from for the technology globally.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And by just listening also, it sounds very interesting as well as very fascinating to know the states compared to other countries, as well as compared to, different states in Australia as well. So that's wonderful to know about these all things, Simon. Thank you so much. So, Simon, if I would like to ask you that at your organizations with the MOOPS technology that you are currently, what are the technologies for both traditional finances as well as the crypto sectors, if we consider? So how and what are the different technologies that you are using, and how do these technologies support your operations?
Yeah, so we're very early stage. So we're pre-seed. We've bootstrapped an MVP, but it's more than an MVP. We've used technology partners to build out our platform. We're probably at the stage where we would benefit from doing a seed round or going out to raise venture capital to enable us to expand our technology team, engage in penetration testing, build out the security on the platform. But the platform essentially is a middle office tool, so it sits between it sits between your counterparties who might be trading. It integrates like an electronic trading platform with a number of exchanges through APIs. It engages. It can integrate as well through APIs with custodians, and really serves as a reporting. You can API into accounting software as well, but building out reporting functionalities that are critical in terms of corporate governance. And when we brought out the idea that we had all worked in one of those crypto lending, large crypto lending unicorns that collapsed in 2022, and really it's about building the corporate governance that we saw wasn't widely available to crypto native firms. So really it's about building better governance to avoid some of those collapses that we saw in 2022.
Great to know, and I really appreciate the detailed explanations of the technologies as well as the platform that you are using, and it's really impressive to hear the advancement as well as the robust system at your organizations. So Simon, my next thing is aligned with the as you are using the different merging of technologies. So in your experience, if you would like to hire the people, what are the most crucial tech skills and expertise that you are looking for when recruiting the new roles in the specifically crypto and the financial technology sector?
I think from the technical roles, obviously having a number, and this probably applies also to when I was working at Infosys and Virtusa in IT services, working with large US and global financial services with banks. I think having a variety of like a number of programming languages, whether you're a front end or back end engineer, having versatility in terms of what skills you're bringing to the client and to the customer. Projects change, the client needs sometimes change as well, but it'll make you, I think, from an individual professional standpoint, it would make you more employable, more likely to get placed, in one of these businesses, and then if I guess it increases your longevity in those places, coming with a number. I imagine most of your listeners and most of the businesses you work with, they're coming out with an engineering degree or a computer science degree and have exposure to multiple languages. So maintaining those skills, maintaining your certifications, and I think what's really valuable though is experience as well. So where you can get experience, whether that's starting out as a fresher or where you are getting placed with a client, really being open and being proactive, looking for opportunities to maybe contribute beyond just a technical role. So thinking ahead, looking at why you're doing why you might be working on a certain project, and trying to understand what the business requirements are, not just the technical requirements, because I think that'd be super beneficial to your long-term success, I think, as an IT professional.
Wonderful line in the last. You said that only not just the technical requirement but the business requirements. That is the absolute and the most required skill as a personal required for, not for just only IT industry but any industry or any sector. So that's the wonderful thing you have shared today. So Simon, ahead of these, if I ask you that any next major project that you would like to work on, or what are the different technologies or innovations that you are going to implement in your near future projects, or any upcoming projects that you would like to share with the audience?
I think the main one for now is like we need to do the penetration testing on the software that we've built. We're pretty early stage, as I said. We're looking for business partners as well, like working with exchanges and to test the software in proof of concepts and POCs. And I think once that occurs, we'll in terms of our expansion as a business and as an early stage middle office SaaS provider, we'll probably then need to bring in a technical CTO to help, I guess with the security side of things as well. That's probably where we're looking over the next 12 months and 6 to 12 months. And if we can get that done and engage a couple of partners, we're hoping we can have some success in terms of our growth.
That's very interesting, and I will be definitely, excited to hear something new from your upcoming needs as well as the upcoming projects you are working and planning. So I'll definitely looking forward to how these projects are going to be evolved. So Simon, ahead of these, if I ask you that, you are every day working with some or other or new innovations, as well as working with the trends as well as the expectations of the different needs. So how do you set your tech budget, and also you allocate for a new project as well as the current technology to maintain as well as to implement in the near future? So can you provide just outlook on that, maintaining and implementing the new technology budget as per your industry needs?
But I think for us specifically, we're probably a little different to like the larger exchanges perhaps or larger custodians who are a little more established. But for us, it's been bootstrapped thus far in terms of doing the penetration testing. Like I said, at scale, we'll probably need to look to raise venture capital at that stage. In terms of the broader industry, what I see, there seems to always be a demand for software engineers. There always seem to be in demand, and also maybe less technical, but somewhat technical. The product roles that there always seem to be product and software engineering roles available, at least in the Australian market, but certainly globally. Those skills are always highly in demand. So I think for those people looking at developing their careers in a tech, maybe they don't want to be as technical. Maybe the pre-sales careers aren't as available, aren't as readily available. Sorry, and they're not as common positions within crypto. But certainly the product side of things is, and that's that's probably true for a lot of startups. Certainly for fintech more broadly. So those would be the areas I'd probably, if I was starting my career again and I wanted to work in this space in a technical capacity, those are the areas that I'd be focused in, either as a software engineer and like I said, having multiple programming skills and maybe as a product person, so understanding the end user as much as possible. Because I mean, it's pretty high level, but it's like you if you use any of these platforms, there's some vast differences in terms of user design and user experience. So some platforms do really, really well at their design, and they're able to charge a premium in terms of the fees. But generally, the crypto space hasn't been really focused on building out really nice and pretty GUIs for people to interact with. It's been a little bit more hands-on from a user's perspective. So as customers go down that journey, or if they head, most don't head into DeFi, but if some do head into DeFi, they're going to have some technical capacity in terms of interacting with various platforms. But I think, when I look at the most successful exchanges, well, in Australia or globally, they do have a focus on user experience and user design.
That's great, and thank you so much for sharing the insights into your, commercial things as well. I really appreciate the transparency as well as honesty. So, Simon, how do you foresee the future of a blockchain technology evolving in Australia as well as globally? And if I ask you, what are the emerging trends or innovations that, as a personally, you are most excited about?
I think the biggest room for growth. Everyone talks about real world asset tokenization, so that's obviously a huge one, and that is. So we're starting to see that with major traditional finance and banks getting into this technology and getting into this space in that capacity. I think that's already occurring. That'll continue to occur. I think it'll continue to grow as the use cases for immutable, cost-effective, fast transactions. I think blockchain does have a huge benefit over legacy systems, but I think probably one of the areas, and I'm by no means an expert in this field, but I wish that I were, is the authentication aspect of an immutable distributed ledger. So, blockchain's use case for authentication, you already see it with university degrees. You've seen premium wine businesses use it. Premium food produce as well have used it in terms of international trade. I think the ability to, as we see, generative AI sort of take off, I think, that's in the early stages of the hype cycle, like blockchain probably was 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So whether AI is going to be a panacea for everything, I'm still a little skeptical. I mean, it's a long way off. But that's not to say it can't get there. But I think we're blockchain intersecting with AI in terms of that authentication. So how do you know something? I mean, you should always be skeptical of things that you read on the internet, just as a default. But let's say you're seeing a deep fake we're in an election year of Donald Trump talking about something. How do we know that's true? Or Kamala Harris saying something? How do you know that's true? And how does blockchain, with its immutability, play a role in terms of authenticating, whether it's, speak, voice, video, or even NLP? What role does a blockchain have in that authentication process? I think that's going to be a really interesting area that I've not heard of too many people exploring at this stage. Another area, just going back to that trade element. So where you've seen it for high-end vineyards or premium lamb or fruit produce or things, in that electronic, how do we digitize our trade so that goods aren't sitting in ports as long as they are? How do we use blockchain to provide some level of authentication and get use electronic trade in terms of our supply chain management systems? Because the amount of time that goods are held in port whilst waiting for clearance, the digitization of that process has the potential to open up billions of dollars of GDP globally through moving of goods more quickly. So I think that's a fairly new area as well. There are businesses exploring that, but it's not an area that's widely talked about. People, the use case for blockchain that people mostly focus on is crypto to this point, because it's been the most popular and most widely used element. But I think the technology has much broader applications potentially. It's not going to be the fix for all. It's not going to be that magical panacea that perhaps people were suggesting it might be, back in 2017 or 2018. But I think there are still broader use cases for the technology in terms of real world asset tokenization, electronic trade, and potentially in terms of authenticating the sovereignty and the authenticity of AI.
Yes, absolutely. So I really appreciate your thoughts on the future of the blockchain technology, and especially I like the the way you are talking about the interoperability of different takes with the blockchain as well as a crypto. So it's really very clear that you not just have only a phone, but thinking vision for how these technologies are going to shape the future of a technology. But I've heard about the blockchain and merging with the different AIs and other techs. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Simon, for this wonderful response. And Simon, before we close the question and answer sessions, I would like to, give a more interesting touch to the podcast by asking you some of the rapid fire questions. And if you are ready, you have to give me the answer with the 1 and 2 words only. No any descriptions, no any explanations, nothing. If you are, you just have to give me the 1 or 2.
It sounds good. I didn't know I'd signed up for this, but let's do it.
Yeah, that's why I have added it. Because people wants to know the leaders that, what is their views on a particular thing in the 1 word. So that's the most interesting part. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as the terms is, you have to just give me the 1 word answer. Okay, and then there will be 10 questions. So my first question is, which is your favorite podcast for the blockchain, crypto, whatever you say?
Should I? There's I forget the name of it, but it's run by the Bamboo out of Perth. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. And the next question is, what's one emerging?
Sorry, it was Crypto Curious. Crypto Curious is the podcast. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question for the second one? My apologies.
Yes. I will explain. What's the one emerging technology that you are most excited about right now?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd like to say ball tracking in cricket.
I think that would be, the most favorite all amongst the global, Australia. Favorite tech conference that you would like to attend in the near future?
I'd like to go to Token 2049 in Singapore because and I like the way that it times with the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay. And if you could have a, opportunity to have a dinner with any tech innovator that is a past or a present, who would it be?
Elon Musk.
Oh, that's interesting. One tech trend that you think it's most overrated?
I'd like to say AI, but I think I might be proven wrong in that. I think it's maybe a little overhyped. What's the most overrated tech trend? Wow. I think AI is overhyped. I don't think it's fully been. I think probably for now, I'd probably say like right now, Gen AI is a little overhyped. But I could be proved wrong in the future, so it's a risky one.
You're one of the favorite productivity tools.
I'd like to say any. I don't want to advertise a CRM, but I would say, probably Salesforce is probably my favorite CRM tool.
Okay. And a technology you think will shape the next decade?
Potentially AI as well.
Now you cannot say it's overrated.
Yeah.
Right.
Once the use cases are built out, I think probably AI. Yeah.
Best piece of career advice you have ever received?
This is an easy one. It's back yourself, because if you don't, no one else will.
Very true. Very true. And favorite book or resources on the blockchain or crypto?
We're currently working on a book in this space, so I would sprint that book, but we're still working on it. There was there's one that I haven't read yet, but I'm quite keen to, by the A16Z crypto. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. The A16Z. What is it? Read, Write, Own, I think, by Dixon. I haven't read that yet, but that's probably the one I'd be most keen to read.
Okay. And last but not the least, one word to describe the future of crypto in Australia.
Lots of potential.
That's a great. So, Simon, that's over to my rapid fire round questions. I really appreciate each and every answer. And so it's really pleasure, hearing about each and every answers from your words. So really, thank you so much for giving each and every responses, and it's very well thoughtful. So the overall, it's wonderful, and again, I really appreciate your presence as well as joining us today on the ADFARTECH Venture podcast. And it's really, great to know about your extensive experiences and a deep understanding of the knowledge about this crypto as well as a blockchain that you have. So, dear audience, this is the time to wrap up the podcast, and I hope you all have also enjoyed listening to Simon for this wonderful journey as well as wonderful experiences he has shared with us. So, thank you, Simon, for joining this podcast and for being a part of our show. We really look forward to following your progress and hearing more from the future about you and your journey in details sometimes again also. So this is all about today's podcast. And if you would like to join Simon or want to know about the MOOPS technology in details about more, you can directly go and follow him, and you can find him with a very interesting technology updates as well as something new about the technology.
Thank you, Sonal, and thank you, ADFARTECH Ventures as well for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
That's a great. That's a great. And audience, before you leave the platform, just go and subscribe to ADFARTECH Venture podcast for more details and for upcoming details about the partners. They are ready to share the journey with us and to learn something in the tech trends about us. So that's a wonderful platform, and you can get always inspirations as well as something to new learn from as well as to inspire more.